everybody, it's Gypsy and Persephone, and it's tea time with the Gypsy Witch. So grab your cups and your mugs, or your mugs, and join me for spiritual discussion. Today I'm having lavender, which I grow myself, and it's very good. So anyways, like I said in my last video, we're going to talk about Hellfire and Brimstone. When I was in the Catholic Church and the Christian Church, I sort of believed in judgment, hell a little bit. I really didn't dwell on it. It was, I know, I just had trouble with that. I guess I had trouble with, on one hand, we have an all-loving God, and then on the other, we could get sent to hell. It just didn't make sense to me. Unconditional love is unconditional love and nothing else. And it always should be. So, hell is actually, it's a concept, a state of mind. It's something you create for yourself. Now, when you cross over, what you truly believe, you can manifest upon crossing over. So you can manifest a hell for yourself. You believe you're in hell, but you're not. Until you wake up and realize there is no hell and you're not there, you'll feel like you are. That's how it's a state of mind. So God, the goddess, creator, does not judge us. We judge ourselves. We're our own worst enemies. Okay? Now, judgment usually, in a more healthy manner, when you cross over and you go over your life, you decide what you could have done better on or whatever. And that's basically the judgment. But if you were raised and you truly believe in this hellfire and brimstone thing, you could judge yourself so harshly you end up having yourself in a false reality of hell. Okay? So there really isn't a hell. Okay? That is a falsehood. Now let's face it. There are a lot of things in the physical realm on planet Earth that were created to control the masses. And the powers that be come up with these things. Now the powers that be are government and major religions. They have been doing this for eons. Okay? So hell, yeah, I think even the religions before the Abrahamic, also did this too. They had their concepts of hell. Like I said, my cat here, her name is Persephone. She's named after the goddess of the underworld. Most people take that as being hell. The underworld is not hell. It's the afterlife in general. Otherwise, I would not have named her Persephone. So, you can manifest it that way. Now, to me, where hell is really located is here during our physical lives. We have difficult times, and those, I believe, are the hells we go through to learn and grow. Now, if you want to hang on to it forever and a day and just wallow in it and not let it go, you're manifesting hell for yourself here. Now, you have others who come in and try to create a hell for you. Okay? That can happen too. So, those are actually what hell is. There is no lake of fire anywhere. Why would a loving God create that? There is none. Okay? So, it's as simple as that. When you cross over, and I know this is very hard when we think of the most horrible criminals that have existed on this planet. It's a hard concept to understand. Now, we talked about pre-life planning in the past. That explains it. Why these people did what they did. And even people in your life who have hurt you. That was pre-life planning most of the time. Typically lessons for that person and for yourself. They came, to help you grow. to help you with something you wanted to learn, something you wanted to overcome. So these people are not necessarily, um, in this realm, it's doing something bad. They're actually assisting you no matter how much you hate them here. Now, when they cross over, no, they don't go to hell. Now, what they chose to do in this life could affect them so badly, and they are convinced they're a horrible person or a horrible being, that they do manifest that hell for themselves. And I'm sure that would satisfy a lot of people here. However, it's a falsehood, and they will come out of it. I don't think it takes, I don't know how long it takes for a person to realize there is no hell after they cross over and to get themselves out of it. And there is assistance in getting you out of it too. But there is no hell. And it was just created, again, by religions to control the masses, keep everybody in line. It's fear-mongering. I think it was probably the original fear-mongering. And fear is how we are controlled. So, in order to have, to be free of that control and that fear, you have to come to the understanding of what the truth actually is. And sometimes we don't like the truth. For instance, somebody who is horrible here isn't in hell, isn't burning in hell, because there is none. But having that truth and knowing that truth, that our Creator is loving, the Goddess is loving, sets you free. You're no longer afraid to cross over, because you realize there's nothing to be afraid of on the other side. So you cannot be controlled here. I think our biggest fear, and what they used to control us the most, is death, and secondly, monetarily. So that's how I feel. Hell, it's just a concept used to control. And so many are so convinced of this concept that they live in fear, and they fear death. And death is something we cannot avoid. And we have to learn the truth, that there is nothing to be afraid of at all. There is no hell. There's basically one place for all of us to go, and that's it. No matter what spiritual path you're on, no matter what you've done in this life, we're all on different paths, but we're going to the same place. So I'll see you when we get there. The biggest key is to learn to forgive yourself and others. So when you cross over and you get to the spirit realm, and you're no longer in form, there's not a single thing there to be afraid of. It's all beautiful and happiness, like we talked about yesterday when we talked about the spirit realm / heaven, nirvana, whatever you call it. There truly is not a thing to be worried about. And for those of you who have been hurt by others, I know that's a hard thing to accept, because you want retribution, you want payback, but there isn't any. And believe me, I've had instances in my life where it's hard to accept, like right now with this Damon. Honestly, they aren't really evil, they're just stupid. But you want that retribution. When my son committed suicide over college debt, I wanted, the Department of Education to pay. I wanted them to pay even after they died. Whoever set that up, I wanted that. But it's not a thing. And I didn't take revenge. I learned to forgive and let it go. So that's what it is like. Before you cross over, you need to understand there is no hell. You're not going to hell. Do not be afraid. Forgive and let it go, so that you can be okay with those which you perceive as monsters here not going to hell, because there is no hell. You only create it yourself. You can create it here in your physical life, and you can create it afterwards if you believe so strongly that there is a hell. In fact, when you get to heaven, spirit realm, for those of you who have that belief that there is a heaven and hell, and if you're not a perfect person, or if you don't follow this religious path or spiritual path, then you don't go to heaven. Well, when you get there, you're going to be awfully shocked to see who's really there. So, yes, people you don't want to think are there are there. So there is no hell. When you hear those hellfire and brimstone sermons, it's all bullshit, okay? Unconditional loving God is an unconditional loving God, goddess, all the deities. I am not the type of witch that believes in evil deities or bad ones. They're all benevolent, okay? So, I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful one.